Hi, welcome to this video today, which is all about best forex trading tips for beginners or any trader who wants to maximize their profits. They come from the greatest investor of all time. If you measure the greatest investor by the amount of money that they made, this lady is number one. Yeah, very few people will have heard of her. Her name was Hetty Green. She was around at the turn of the 20th century with a person who many people consider to be the greatest speculator and trader of all time, Jesse Livermore. Now, there is no comparison between the two. Livermore made fortunes and lost them several times over and died broke. Hetty Green made fortunes 10 times or more the size of Jesse Livermore, never lost her money and died with a massive fortune. Now, why is she forgotten to history? I'm not quite sure, really, because she was a fantastic investor, trader, and just so consistent. Now, in terms of Hetty Green, I'm just going to discuss some of her key lessons in terms of making money. And one of the lessons any forex trader needs to learn, because it's a fantastic advantage of trading. Also going to give my best quotes from her as well. She's got some fantastic wisdom in the quotes and they're very funny as well. Now, in terms of what I want to do before I discuss lessons from Hetty Green, just want to show a quick comparison between her and Warren Buffett. Many people consider Warren Buffett the world's greatest investor. He's not quite there with Hetty Green. And also a quote from a newspaper about her at the time, which made her a rather strange sort of person you'd imagine to be the world's greatest ever investor. Right, 30 seconds and we're back to discuss more. Hi, welcome back after that short summary there of Hetty Green's wealth, and also the comment from a local newspaper about her. Now, before I discuss her key lessons for trading success, it's worth keeping in mind that her fortune would have been even bigger if she did what other traders did at the time. All the people who had money engaged in insider dealing. She refused to do that. She was actually a Quaker, very ethical, okay? And I think, think back to when she was around, women didn't even have the vote. Just so impressive. Anyway, now, in terms of that quote from the newspaper, she was eccentric. I think that came from her Quaker background. She was renowned for being, let's say, tight with her money. She, dressed in shabby clothes. She's often mistaken as a beggar when walking around the street. She lived in tatty apartments in rundown areas of New York. She wouldn't turn the heating on in case she wasted money. She even used to resell her newspaper each day outside of her office for half price after she read it so she could make some extra money. Not that she needed it, of course. Now, in terms of Hetty Green, yes, she is forgotten to history. I think the reason why is because people focus on her frugality, let's say. And she is actually, for example, in the Guinness Book of Records as being the greatest miser in history. I think she probably could be considered to be that. She was despised at the time for how careful she was and her appearance and so forth. So she's never really got the acknowledgement from investors that she should. But all the great investors today would adhere by a lot of Hetty Green's principles for making money in the markets. And beginners, when they come in the markets, probably don't think about the points that I'm just going to summarize, but they're the key to really becoming successful at trading. And people like Warren Buffett are very similar to Hetty Green in the way they approach investing and trading. So let's summarize her key tips for trading success, and then we'll look at some fantastic quotes from her.
Right, let's have a look at some top tips from Hetty Green. Now, in terms of point number one, it's a fantastic advantage for any trader. It's one that she understood: compound growth. Now, most traders have heard of compound growth, but just don't consider what a powerful advantage it is in terms of their own trading. Now, Hetty Green built a massive fortune with no leverage whatsoever, but she reinvested most of her gains. She didn't take that much out of her trading account. Okay, now if you want to build wealth, that is what you need to do. Okay, now in terms of Hetty Green, no leverage. We of course can use leverage to increase our profit potential. Now, in terms of leverage, it's a double-edged sword. It can work for or against you. How much is sensible leverage? I'm going to say 10 to 1 as a ballpark figure. What's the optimum growth rate against that leverage? From my experience over the last 35 years, I'm going to say 50%. Know a lot of traders who do that consistently per annum. I know quite a few do 100% consistently per annum. Now, if I was to say to most beginners that is a great growth rate or great growth rates to aim for, they look disappointed. They've heard all the get rich quick nonsense online about doubling your trading account quickly or even more in a short space of time. Some traders are lucky, but if you keep over leveraging, keep exposing yourself to too much risk and going for too big a gain, you'll just blow your account out. Every successful trader knows that. Okay, so those growth rates, in my view, are great to aim for. Now just think about what those growth rates can give you in terms of return over the medium or longer term. Let's take the example of 100% per annum on a 10,000 trading account. You make 100% per annum. How much have you got in 10 years? You've got $1.5 million. That's the snowball effect of compound growth. Now, even better, or not even better, but it's a great advantage, is your work rate does not increase with your success. You trade, you've got a strategy with an edge, you trade it the same way if you're trading 10,000 or 100,000 or a million. It's just the trade size that is adjusted. There's no other business I know where your work rate remains constant. Now, in terms of Forex trading, you don't actually have to work that hard. Now, Hetty Green was patient. Okay, she had a vast amount of money, most of the time just sat in cash. She would only go in the market when the trade matched all the criteria that she wanted. If it didn't, she didn't bother trading. Now, she never acted on impulse, so she never did impulsive trades. You see a lot of traders, they do impulsive trades. They want to trade, so they'll sit at a screen and try and find trade. It's ridiculous. You're just going to get low odds trades and lose. Have checklists. And, Hetty had checklists. She'd go through the checklist against what she wanted to do, double check it, think about it, then do it. Okay? She never acted on impulse. And there's a misunderstanding about Forex trading in terms of it's like exciting, it can be fun. It isn't. It's boring. In terms of what you have to do, you have to wait most of the time. Be patient and then hit the right trades. How many trades do you need per month to make 50 or 100% per annum? Well, I know plenty of traders who trade, maybe 5 times a month, maybe 10, no more than that. They're making big gains. It's the profit potential of the trade against the risk that you want. Okay, you want the best trades. Work rate counts for nothing in Forex trading. Only the money you make. So sit around most of the time and do nothing. Point number 3. Focus on one area of trading or strategy and do it well. What I mean by this is you need to learn a strategy that suits you. So let's say you're a little bit of an impatient trader. You might want to swing trade, taking shorter term moves, a couple of days to a week. If you're very patient, you might go for a long-term trend trading strategy where you sit on trades for weeks on end. You've got to get a strategy that suits you. Then you've got to practice it to get used to it, learn it, become totally familiar with it. Okay? Do it well. Practice does make perfect. You need a lot of practice in Forex trading to become a consistently profitable trader. So you want to stick with one strategy. Now, a lot of traders, they hop from strategy to strategy. There is no perfect strategy, okay? They've all got advantages and disadvantages. So get the one that's right for you. And you find a lot of time the trading conditions don't match your strategy. Well, just be patient. Because I've known plenty of traders that do one thing well. You're a great trend follower. Made a lot of money from long-term trends. There weren't any long-term trends around, so he started taking tips from the news, breaking his strategies, rules, and it ended in disaster. So you focus on doing something well, one thing well. That's what Hetty Green did. She had numerous shares that she could invest in. She stuck to real estate and railroads most of the time because they were areas that she knew everything about. So she didn't bother doing anything else. I think it's good advice for traders, okay? Get one strategy that you're comfortable with, do it well, and stick with it. Trade contrary. If everyone laughs at your trading idea, it's probably a good one. Now, that actually comes not from Hetty Green, that quote. It comes from Jim Rogers. He's right. If you look at most traders, they want to do comfortable trades with the majority. And that just isn't a way to make money. All the great traders are contrarians. Look at what your Warren Buffett's, your George Soros's, your Paul Tudor Jones is. They trade contrary. They don't go with the majority. I mean, we're basically contrary traders, and it does take a bit of getting used to. And you see all these experts, on Bloomberg and Reuters telling you what's going to happen. You're going the other way. Of course, they're not traders, are they? They're just basically fitting the news to the price action. A great tip comes from Richard Dennis, one of the great traders of all time. He said, if you find a trade comfortable to do, don't do it. Step back. You're probably getting in to the mindset of the majority, okay? So you need to learn to be on your own. You need to learn to be uncomfortable. Hetty Green, she would always buy cheap. Obviously, she was doing shares. Now, this comes into scaling into tops and bottoms. She would go aggressively into the market and buy when there was panic, and she would sell when there was greed. Okay? Now, it's hard to be exact when you're trading emotion, an emotional end to a trade, be it a panic or euphoria. So she would scale in. She would come in with a little amount of money. Let's say she was buying. Then she'd add a little bit more. Then a little bit more. It wouldn't be big positions. But because she's scaling in, it's not martingale. She only do it a few times. As soon as the trade turns in her favour, she would be making money. And then obviously when you get a turn, you're very quickly in profit. Now there was a hedge fund manager called Leo Freeman Saw. He did a study of the best traders in hedge funds. And he noticed one group that did really well were people who did that. They would come in 3 times only, small amounts, and basically, if they were wrong, they were wrong. They might try again. But when that turned in their favour, they were quickly in profit. They got the turn. They could hold on and watch the counter trend unfold. Now, that is a good way of trading. I know plenty of traders who do that, just small trades at market turns because the risk reward is so good, and scale in. You don't have to risk much, but greed and euphoria basically ends, and it ends in a big way. Point number 6, understanding the target and not fearing regret. This is another thing that Hetty Green understood. She'd have an exact amount she wanted to make from her investment. When she made it, she banked it in and looked for another one. Now, a lot of traders can't do that. When they're making money from an investment, they want more. They fear if they get out, it'll go on. I've said this on numerous occasions. It doesn't matter. You got what you wanted, so be happy. A huge amount of traders hang on too long. Okay? And of course, when a big move develops, the media start going crazy and saying it's going to keep continuing. We've seen this numerous times. Traders get a false sense of security. They might double up or add more in. Then the turn comes, they lose all their profit and sometimes more. So I think, have a target. There's always going to be other trades, okay? So you get what you want from the trade and you go away. I always think it's a great idea to bank out of trades. Once the public really becomes interested in it, you want to be gone because it's probably going to be a turning point. Look for something else. The myth of managed money performance. She got plenty of offers of people to manage money for her. She turned them all down. Was never interested, even when she first started, having anyone manage her money. Like she said, best person to manage my money is me. I can do it. Doesn't matter about anyone else. I think a lot of people, when they come in the Forex markets, they'll be risking a few $1,000s or whatever, have 100,000 in a mutual fund that's doing nothing. Let's face it, most of them can't even beat the index. If you're really serious about Forex trading, any managed money that you've got, look at it. If it isn't performing, and most managed money doesn't perform, get out of it and do it yourself, okay? Also consider that in terms of managed money, the reason that most of it underperforms is simply because fund managers trade to make fees in the market. We've already said that patience is the key. So if you really want to boost your trading account, consider what you've got in other investments that are managed. It won't apply to everyone, but Hetty Green always managed her own money, refused outside managers. She said she was perfectly capable of doing it herself, and she obviously was. Now, in terms of further reading on Hetty Green, it's worth reading up on her in my view. I've got a couple of autobiographies. Just put Hetty Green in the search at Amazon. You'll find them. They're both worth reading in my view. You can read the reviews. A fascinating lady. Although she was pretty mean, she was a kind lady. She never did anything unethical. She's been forgotten to history, of course. But she was unfashionable. But is there really anything unfashionable about being the greatest investor ever? Just a fantastic story in my view. And it's a shame she's been forgotten. I'm now going to play out with my favourite quotes from Hetty Green, which actually some of them made me laugh out loud. Last quote, not quite sure what it means, but a really fantastic investor, trader. Lot you can learn from her. Here are the quotes. Thank you very much for watching me as usual. Take care. Have a good day.